Today on FinTutor, we're going to learn how to use the option volatility screen on Bloomberg. To find option volatility, top left hand corner, type in option vol, and this brings up option volatility surface. If I click on this, this will take me to the option volatility surface screen, or OVDV. I was last looking at Google US equity, and what you'll see here is this brings up the vol table, and you can sort by moneyness, delta, sigma, or more likely strike. Looking at strike now allows me to see options that are in the money or out of the money. I find it easier to look at moneyness. Okay, whether it's in the money on the right hand side or out of the money on the left hand side. I can then also sort by tenors, and you'll see that my expiries go from 1 month out to 10 years. If then I wanted to examine the full surface of the option to check for lumpiness, I can look at the full surface and start seeing where my low delta options are, and obviously my in the money options are, and how these change over as a function of time and as a function of strike. On the right hand side, I can look at volatility versus term using 100% moneyness, or if I make this, for example, 30% or low delta, then I can see that volatility is a lot higher on the short dates than it is in the long dates. I can also check by term, and you'll start seeing a term graph. I can look at the skew to see whether there's a put or a call skew. I can see the effect that dividends have, and then I can check for outright prices on my options. This is fine if it's an equity, but I can also look at commodities, FX, interest rates, and inflation. These will be followed up in different tutorials later on. Looking at the volatility surface, what I can do is take a look at, for example, moneyness, and if I'm looking at for a low delta option, what I might want to do is hover over one and get some more details. Let's say, for example, I'm looking at a 2 month 860 option. I can click on that, right click, OVME, and this will take me to the option valuation screen. What this has brought up is all the previous details that I had in my volatility surface, and has now brought up the option pricer, so I can start mucking around and seeing the dynamic of the price and how that would look and how that would work. I can click on scenario, and this will give me an idea of my scenario and how I can price things. It will also give me a feel for my at expiry and the manner in which my option trades. If I click on volatility, you'll see it takes me back to the volatility surface and table that we had previously. If I look at term, what I can compare is my equity, and perhaps I want to change this to IBM. And now I'm comparing the term volatility or term data volatility spread between Google and IBM. I'm looking at moneyness at 100% using a mid price. Showing data as of today, I can switch this back to today, so I'm comparing IBM with Google on the same day. Surface as at this time, as at this date versus this, and looking at an absolute comparison. And what we see here is that Google has a higher vol than IBM, implying that it's more likely to fall than it is to rise versus IBM, or is indeed more volatile to the downside. This has been another lesson from FinTutor.